Hey guys, before we start, a quick shout out to Alpha Dog Nutrition for sponsoring this podcast. Alpha Dog products are now available at dusupply.com, and you can use code ALPHADOG15 at checkout for 15% off and a credit for free shipping to try it yourself. Now let's get you to your podcast.
Find yourself in the pages of Full Cry as we dive into the archives of America's leading tree dog publication. Join us as we look back at decades of stories, articles, and more written by those bold enough to follow the echoes of a hound.
Breeding for Results by J. Richard McDuffie from Aiken, South Carolina, from the August 1996 issue of Full Cry magazine. Over the last 50 years, I've been around a lot of hunters, dog trainers, and dog breeders. If I've learned anything, it is that seldom can all three be found in the same individual. When I think back over the truly outstanding hunters I've known, not one of them could do much training a dog. They bought their good dogs already trained. Many of them were not able to understand much of what took place between strike and tree. Those that followed their dogs would almost beat their dogs to the tree. They would shoot the coon the moment they saw it, grab it up, put it in a sack or coat without taking time to praise the dogs to let them get their teeth in the fur. Those who hunted coastal style, cast the dogs from the truck and stay at the truck until the dog's tree and then figure out the best way to them, would run from the truck to the dogs, shoot the coon out and stick it into a coat and run back to the truck to make another turnout. Both types would catch 2 or 3 times as many coons as most hunters, but they were never able to understand why they could not train pups. Most observers knew it was because they were so intent on catching coons, they paid the pups no attention. On the other hand, the best trainers I've known never killed a great number of coons. The 2 best trainers I've known are now both deceased. They were Bob Bulware and Ray Player. They knew how to develop a bond with a pup and had all the patience in the world as they introduced the pup to new surroundings and new experiences. Seldom did either of them start with a pup that failed to go on to become a great dog. Both men bought most of the pups they trained. Ray said he cared little for hunting with finished dogs. He said that as soon as he knew he was going to catch a coon every time he went hunting, he was ready to sell that dog and start over. For years, Ray bought a pair of pups from me every winter and sold them as finished dogs the next spring and started over with another pair of pups. Bob Bulware, on the other hand, kept most of his dogs as long as they lived. However, I was able to get 3 of the better dogs I've ever owned back from him. They were Cumberland Valley Polly, Cumberland Valley Molly, and Nimrod Shadow. He got all 3 from me as weaning age pups. I got Polly and Molly back at 25 months. Both were finished dogs at that time. Nimrod's Shadow was a yearling when I got him. He was wound tight and it took a while to get him settled down, but what a track dog he was from the beginning. Neither Bob nor Ray aspired to be a breeder. Noah Leggett was both a very successful breeder and trainer. He retired from hunting except for fox hunting in pens 20 years ago. However, dogs he bred during his 15 years of hunting and breeding have tremendously influenced most of today's leopards. None of those men could have articulated what I'm going to say, but all instinctively knew it and put it into practice. Not all the successful breeders are able to put into words this knowledge, but they too know these things instinctively. The dog was the first animal domesticated by man. All breeds of dogs have descended from wolves. In this sense, all canines share a common ancestry. Man, by controlling the mating of domesticated canines, has created all breeds as we know them. It's hard to conceive of the toy dog breed sharing a common ancestry with Mastiff and Wolfhounds. But because they do, all canines respond to the same social stimuli as a wolf pack. In the wild wolf pack, there is an alpha or dominant male and female. The rest of the pack recognizes this dominance, and therefore the entire pack works together for the good of the whole. Any individual that seeks to do his own thing and ignore the good of the pack is not tolerated. When 2 or more dogs are placed together, a pecking order is established, unless one just recognizes the other as the dominant. Dominance is established by a fight. Dominance is established when one rolls over on its back and exposes its throat to the other. The presentation of the throat means the dominance of the other has been accepted. Man is able to train a dog by establishing himself as the leader of the pack. This dominance can be established in different ways. It may not even be a conscious effort on the part of the trainer, but all successful trainers establish themselves as dominant or leader of the pack. Whether he is hunting one dog or a dozen, he is recognized as the pack leader if he is successful. Successful trainers do not yell and scream at their dogs. They may appear to other humans as being subdued. They speak softly, but firmly. They know when to reward and when to punish. Successful trainers do not punish their dogs when they're angry. They mete out just enough punishment to make the dogs recognize them as the pack leader. Some trainers, when dealing with a particularly hard-headed dog, do what is called overlaying. This is done by grabbing the dog by the throat with one hand, pulling the dog into an upright position, and throwing him flat on his back. The trainer then lays his body over it while holding the dog by the throat. He maintains his grasp on the throat and the weight of his body across the dog while he speaks to the dog in a very gruff voice. Continues this until the dog ceases resistance. Usually, this establishes the trainer's dominance over the dog, and the training can follow. Not all dogs recognize a human pack leader. They may even be considered great dogs. Such dogs hunt for themselves. Many of the dogs called competition dogs fall into this category. People who hunt such dogs are not really handlers. They're being handled by the dog. They turn the dog loose and go get him whenever they find him at a tree. Then they lead him back. The objective of every breeder should be to breed dogs with a strong pack mentality. Such dogs accept their master as pack leader and will do their best to please him. The only thing any breeder can do is breed dogs with a propensity to hunt and find their place in that pack. May be the master in that one dog or the master in several dogs, but the principle is the same. I have never enjoyed hunting just one dog. I hunt several. However, there comes a time when I leave the more experienced and dominant members of the pack home and give the lesser members a chance to be number one. Occasionally, things happen to negatively affect young dogs in their relationship with their master. Many times, I've known dogs that have gone sour with one master change hands and go right to work for the new owner. The problem was not the dog. The problem was the first owner had never established himself as pack leader, or the dog had lost confidence in him. Most breeders guarantee their pups, but can they guarantee the person trying to retrain them? In all probability, every breeder replaces pups that would have made great dogs in other hands.
Like what you heard? Leave us a review and make sure to tag @FullCryMag when sharing your own adventures. You can check out more vintage content and get your subscription to the all-new Full Cry magazine at www.fullcrymag.com. From the pages of Full Cry is a Full Cry production. We want to thank our sponsors and encourage everyone to support those who support our lifestyle. This episode would not be possible without the support of Next Level Super Premium Dog Food and W Hunting Supply. Until next time, keep those dogs in the woods and find yourself in the pages of Full Cry.